What's up? How you doing? Beautiful day today. Beautiful Monday evening, actually. So the day is almost over, and very nice, perfect. It just feels good to be out here. Anyway, I have a few items here I'm going to showcase. Got a picaroon. Look at that, beautiful picaroon. I was thinking earlier today, they've made a lot of horror movies. Friday the 13th, Halloween, Jason, what was that, Nightmare on Elm Street, April Fool's Day. There's a lot, Saw movies, right? But I've never seen a movie, and it might be out there, I just haven't seen it, with a picaroon as the main weapon. You know the damage you can inflict with one of these? Like, imagine swinging this at the ribs, right around here. This will go right through, and then you pull out all the stuff. So anybody out there listening about making a horror movie, this right here, main weapon right here. They use axes, they use sledgehammers, guns, knives, all that stuff. This right here, very simple. So anyway, and then I have my Gransfors Bruks axe made in Sweden. Love this this axe. Look at that. Beautiful work on this, handmade. Handmade hickory handle. This is my favorite axe company. I mean, I have different axe companies. They're all exceptional. They're all good, but this one here is my favorite. Gransfors Bruks, Sweden, and handmade. And then once it's done, the individual stamps their initials on the side here, so you know who made it. You can go after them if it's defective, right? I love the sheath. Nice thick leather, no cheap job here, very thick rivets. And I will say it's very sharp. Right out of the box, you have to do nothing to it. It's very sharp. And I've had this now like 7 years. 7 years I've had this. Very nice axe. It's a good size, so if you go camping or something and you have a camping, a bag, fits right in there. No handle sticking out the top where you look like a lumberjack. Although I do like the bigger ones, but this one is more convenient. Very convenient. So big fan. I love this knife. The sheath is incredible. Thick leather. Look at this. Look at that. Thick leather. Double stitched. Nice handle. Fits perfectly. Ergonomics. Look at that. It just fits right in my hand perfectly. So, Wild Pig Hunter is what this is called, made by Tops Knives. Big fan of that company. Look at that. Got a nice surface here. You can use a ferro rod to spark up, light a campfire. Good steel, made in the USA. Lanyard. And on the sheath, it has a lanyard, but it also has a whistle. Tops Knives has a website, topsknives.com, and a phone number. So I highly recommend this knife. I've had this probably about 8-9 years. 8-9 years. Would I buy it again? Yes. And it's still sharp. So I'm gonna use a little Ballistol. This is eco-friendly, safe on the skin. Says it all here. Give it a good shake. Now, a lot of people, they say they enjoy the smell of this. Not really. I mean, it's almost, for me, it's almost something you could say, oh, that's pretty good. But a little bit, I don't know, it's all right, but something in there annoys me. Something annoys me in there. It would drip a little bit on the metal here, the steel. This is good corrosion preventative. But don't leave it on there like, you know, you're greasing up the tires. A little bit and wipe it off. But it's a very, very good oil for rust prevention. It's a good lubricant and extremely safe, like it says here. It's safe on the skin. I wouldn't eat it, but maybe you can. I'm kidding. Don't go eating it. It says harmful or fatal if swallowed, so don't eat that. You got to say that, as some crazy person will drink it and then come after you. Say, you told me it was safe. It's not. So let it sit for a moment or two. Put a little bit on the axe. Look at that. That is good workmanship. You can hear a dog out there. I want to say it's okay, but it's not like it's that enjoyable. That's like a Joe Pesci dog. Wimpy on the outside, tough on the inside, you know. All right. Yeah, I love this oil though. I've been using it for years. So we'll let it sit there for a little bit. Not like it's gonna penetrate much, right? It's steel, it's not cotton t-shirt. So now the sheath. I have leather cream. Leather cream. Put a little bit on the sheath, dries out. Put it around the seams. I have other stuff too. Right now I'm using this. I've used other leather conditioners. When I was up in Alaska, there was I went into a small town and they had a bus that would drop you off in different locations, and the driver was a very interesting what? Okay. It's a helicopter. What? Is not the door open? Well, the key's there. All right. I am back. Had a little interruption there, but I'm back now. So that's why there's an edit right there. Anyway, whatever I was saying, I'm going to say now. So anyway, I put conditioner on. I use different variety of conditioners, depending, you know, I have 4 or 5 brands that I like, and they're all about the same. So this one's nice. Put some on this. This is a nice leather too, softer. First thing I do when I buy a belt for the pants, condition. I like leather when it's nice and broken in. So I will condition it. I will let it sit. Sometimes I'll condition it a few times, depending on the roughness. Now this I've conditioned other times, but every so often I will repeat. Helicopters. And it doesn't take that long to dry. I have jump ropes made from leather, which is my favorite material to make them, to have them made out of. I don't make them, but when you first buy them, they're very rigid. And so I used to use mink oil a lot when I was younger, but now I use other ingredients. So that's nice. We'll let it dry there. And I'm going to say one thing about axes. I prefer the handle not to have any paint on it or shellac or whatever the shiny stuff is that they use. I want it to be like that. See that? This one here is painted. Now I took all the other stuff off, the shiny stuff from here. And the reason that I don't like it is because it tires you out. The shinier the handle, yeah, it looks impressive to the eye. Oh, look at that handle. That guy has a nice paint job on the handle. But what happens is when you swing it all day, you have to increase your grip because your hands sweat. And this stuff, you know, if they add shellac or polyurethane or whatever, it gets slippery. So the longer you use it, the wetter it gets, right? You have to increase constantly the grip, and it tires you out. Where if it's like this, the moisture absorbs into the wood, and it doesn't build up on the surface because it's porous, so you don't get as tired. So I'm a big fan of do not add stuff to the handle. Yeah, they have their name here. That's fine. What I don't like is when they add polyurethane or something. And of course they do it because it's eye-catching, you know. It's like, oh wow, look at that. That looks awesome. I have some really good German axes. I have like what do I have? 3 or 4 German axes, really good quality ones. But they get the handle painted. You know, it's got slippery stuff on it. So when you use it after a while, I remember one time I was trying to bust up some wood over there, and after a while, you know, you need a towel or chalk or something, but after a while your hands, they get tired. So, you know, I guess you could scrape it off, right? or you can just buy it like that. So anyway, we will wipe off the excess amount. Believe me, on the molecular level, it's on there protecting it. Nice. Look at that. Very sharp. When I first got this, I thought it was like, you know, Lowe's or Home Depot sharp, which is not sharp at all. And then I was messing around with it. My finger caught on this, and I go, wow, that's like a razor blade. You got men shaving with this. They'll put it on and they'll start, you know. And then my Wild Pig Hunter. Wild Pig Hunter. Look at that beautiful knife. Beautiful handle. I love the way that feels. Clean it off. I'll say something funny. It's not funny, but at the time it was annoying. Now I think about it, and I wouldn't call it funny, but I bought a brand new knife one time, and I was opening it up, and it was in that hard plastic. You know, they wrap around that hard plastic to prevent theft, when all it actually does is prevent you who buys it from opening it up easily. So I was opening it up, and somehow my thumb ran over the blade as I yanked it, and I felt it sink in, and it opened up I don't know, I want to say about that big of a line on my thumb, and I opened it up, and you could see inside, you know, the material that my thumb was made out of. And it annoyed me at the time. I was like, yeah, that stupid hard plastic they use, that's why that happened. But I took pictures of it, and you know, it was a memory. But I've gotten cut, you know, with knives quite a few times with the fingers, you know. One time I had a box cutter, and I was doing shingles, cedar wood shingles on the outside of a house, and it was freezing outside. It was probably in the 20s, very cold, and I was on a, I don't know what you call it, but not scaffolding, but it was kind of homemade scaffolding. So I was up on this thing, and I was measuring and cutting, and then, you know, hammering the cedar into the exterior wall. Well, my hands were so cold that at one point, as I was cutting with the box cutter, I had my hand like this. It went over my index finger and cut me right where my fingernail is. It went through the fingernail and into the finger itself. And as I was doing this, it was opening up like a mouth, like Guy Smiley's mouth, and it was leaking out blood. But it was a weird kind of pain because it was cold out. And it was just, you know, very annoying. And that nail, half of it came off, and it took a while to, you know, come back. Little kitten down here. Yeah, playful. So that was a very annoying cut. And then I know one when I was really little, I was like 5 or 6, and I was at a house up in Maine, cottage, and I saw a knife. It was, you know, smooth like that, no serrated edges. And I thought it was like a butter knife. I go, that's not sharp at all. And somehow I was cutting a piece of bread, and it slid off the bread, and it cut me on the corner of my index finger. And I go, that was sharp. And to this day, I mean, you know, I can't show, it won't really show on camera well, but when you look at it in a certain angle like that, you can see the scar. It kind of blends in, but there's a little scar there. Then from that point on, I knew that it doesn't have to have bumps on it to be sharp. As a matter of fact, those aren't as sharp as the ones that are like that. Hey, little kitten right here. So, put it in here, let it dry. And then this sheath is pretty dry, but still needs a little bit more for it to be 100% dry. I'm talking about dry from this stuff, not from moisture. My favorite measuring tool. So, like about 13 inches. 13 inches for that. Should tell you how long the blade is here. Blade is 8 inches, and altogether 13. But really, you know, when you go out into the forest, that's all you need. Knife and a little axe. You know, that's all. Make a fire, cook a nice steak on it. Nighttime in the forest, you want a dog. Like my favorite dog is a Candy Corso. And a Presa, of course. I like Presa and Candy. I mean, I see those dogs as similar, but a Presa Canario or a Candy Corso, I love those dogs. That's what you need when you go on your own, especially on your own at night. You don't know what's going to show up. You need a warning thing to, you know. I mean, it might even be the worst animal of all, human beings. The scummiest of all. They show up and, you know, they may want to take you out. If you have a dog with you, it'll warn you and possibly save your life. A lot of crazies out there. A lot of crazies, so. I mean, this is pretty new. Still needs to get a few whacks to break in. There's a little thin layer of, I don't know what that is, like protective layer of something that they add on the metal. Look at that, it's got the top in there. No way that head is coming off. But like I said, they should make a horror movie, and the villain has one of these. Nice and light. You could really swing this. Like this going into somebody's temple. Yeah. We're talking horror movies here. We're not talking reality. I don't think in reality you'd see somebody chasing people around on the street with one of these. That is very unusual. You know? Like, I don't remember ever, trying to think if I ever heard a serial killer going after people with a sledgehammer. Never heard of that. I'm sure they're out there, but so that's it. That's it for now. We're gonna go in and eat now. But this is really for picking up wood. Good steel on that. Look at that. And I don't know what to say. I love measuring with this. Lufkin. All right. Ciao.